everybody, this is Martha. I am going to share with you today my altered paper clips. They're little flowers, and I want to say right off the bat that I did not create this technique. I have watched lots and lots of YouTube videos and spent way too much of my evening time on Pinterest. I guess there's worse ways to spend evenings, probably. But since my husband likes to watch TV at night, I sit with him and we watch shows, and I spend too much time on Pinterest. So I don't write down where I find all of the techniques, and I don't always save what I watch on Pinterest. So I really can't give credit for all of this, but I will say that it's not my technique, and I hope you might give this a try, or put your own twist on what I'm showing. So these are some of the ones that I've made. They are mostly large paper clips on the back, and some of them are two-toned, and some of them are just plain. And purple is one of my favorite colors, so there's that one. And this one, this was the first two-toned one that I tried, and I really like it. I don't want to get too close because I know then it goes out of focus and I lose the best light. This was my first paper flower. I used Tattered Angels and it didn't come out very well, so then I used a couple of ink pads. I used red and silver, or no, red and gold. That would be gold, not silver. And this is a piece of cardstock on the back. So they can be made with cardstock. They can be made with just paper on the back. Some of the cutout petals. And this is some of the stuff that I used to make these. I have this really teeny tiny paper punch, and it's perfect for brads. I don't know what size it is because it doesn't have a size on it, but that hole puncher is really teeny. I have paper clips, some of which I got from Staples. These are the large ones. These are metal and they are colored. These are normal sized ones and they are colored. And then I also have these from Dollar Tree, and these are plastic coated colored ones. You can see the colors. And then these are regular metal silver ones, and they're the larger sizes. I also use ink pads, and I use brads. I have several different kinds. These are a bit larger and they're colored, and these are itty bitty teeny tiny ones, and they're silver. And then I have some that are shaped like stars, and they're pretty small too, which is why you need the small hole cutter, because if you used a larger hole punch for this, this would fall right through, and then it wouldn't really be of any help. I also use this wonderful tissue paper that is from Hobby Lobby, and I got it 50% off, and it was $1.99, and it was 50% off, so I paid basically $1 for it. And I love this stuff. It's thick. It's not quite as flimsy as regular tissue paper, and I just really like it. I plan on using this all year round. Even though it's a Christmas tissue paper, you can ink over or cut around the parts that refer to Christmas. So it says December here, it says Christmas chimes, it says A Carol of the Holly, Christmas chimes, the flowers of the field, December. If you ink this stuff, cut around it, you can use this all year round. I use it, I ink it, I spray it with my Tattered Angels spray. I crunch it up crumble it up. I use it as backgrounds on cards and on pockets and stuff like that. So it's sort of like using pages out of a book. It's not as thick, but anyway. And the other thing I use is the paper punch. And this is a 1.5 inch or 3.81 centimeter petal punch. It's got a ruffled edge on it. And what I do is I fold up the tissue paper. You can fold it once, you can do it single, you can fold it once, or you can fold it a couple of times because these punches are pretty strong. And I turn it over and I flip this open and I put it in and I punch and move it over, I punch again, I move it over and slide it out. If you don't move it over to the smooth paper, it's going to stick. Trust me. And it's already sticking. And you can get a lot punched out. I use between 15 and 20 for each flower. You can use less. You could use more. It depends on what look you're looking for. And last night I pre-inked a bunch of these. It does take them time to dry. You don't have to pre-ink them. You can use them right away if you want to. And the other thing I use is glue. So let me get started and show you what I've done. Now, these I inked up in 2 different tones, and I used this archival ink here. That is the plum. This is the cactus flower. It's pretty bright. And I did, this one is the archival ink in black and watering can. And some of the others that I used, this is this one here. And I used the Distress ink in picked raspberry and spun sugar. And this one is not two-toned. It's before I figured out I could do two-toned. And this one is the evergreen. Oop, nope, it's not. I'm fibbing to you. That's peacock feathers. But I want to do one in both of these colors to see how it comes out in the two tones. So I just wanted to show that this is what it looks like before and after. Okay. So like I said, you really can't see the words once you've made it up into the flower. So let's pick these 2 colors. And what I'm going to do is you just combine them. And it doesn't matter really if the paper is right side up or right side down when you do it. This ink really inked up dark, so the color almost disappears. I mean, I'm sorry, the print on the paper almost disappears. There it is. You can see some right there. And I'm going to start with a dark on the top because the center of the flower, when the bud is still closed in the center, is usually much darker. And so I'm going to just rotate these back and forth. I'm going to go dark and light, dark and light, dark and light. And it gives the flower some depth, and it sort of comes out fun. I didn't figure this out until yesterday morning, and I tried to do several videos, and they sort of came out either upside down or sideways, or my dogs barked, or my husband interrupted, or whatever. So I sort of gave up. And my husband is gone, and sometimes he's half the reason the dogs bark. Now, I don't line all the petals up exactly. As you can see, they're a little off-centered from each other, and that's fine because it's going to give the flower a little more depth that way. And then what I do is I save 3 out, 3 or 4. Maybe I'll save 4 out. Oh, nope, I forgot. I am going to put these here. I'll save 2 out because I'm going to use green on the bottom, because it sort of looks like leaves then sticking out from the edges. And then you just take your paper punch and you sort of wing it, trying to find the center, as close to the center as you can. And if you hear a noise in the background, that's my little dog snoring. Snoring is better than barking, trust me. Take your little tiny brad and insert it and spread it open. Okay, so there you have that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to glue these 2 together. And once I get those glued together, I am going to put my paper clip. I have to choose a paper clip. So I think I will use one of the pink. You could use green, you could use white, you could use silver. So the paper clip has a short end and a long end, of course. And what I do is I want the long end out so that I have more to clip onto my page. So the long end is going to be on the outside and the short end is going to be on the inside. And I have to glue a couple of the green ones together as well. Almost forgot. So we'll glue these together. There we go. And I will put those together. My little dog is so funny. She snores like a big dog. She weighs all of 8 pounds. So, yeah, there's that. Okay. All right. Paper clip, glued together backing. I am going to put, because I want this side to match up to that side and I want the green out, and I want the large part on the green. Okay. So there we have that. And then when I glue this, I think you can see I left paper below the short part of the paper clip. That's really important because you want this paper glued very tightly to that paper. And I glue on top of the paper clip and in between it. And more glue, please, all around the edge, especially on the bottom there. And you don't want glue gooping out all over the place, but you want to make sure it's all covered well. You see that? And then you just place it on the back of your flower. And I like to pinch the top and the bottom where these spaces are in the paper clip. If you don't do that, what's going to happen is, as you're taking this on and off, whatever you're clipping it onto, this paper is going to catch and it's going to start ripping. Cardstock is really good. You can just cut a piece of cardstock and ink it up and then glue some of the papers to it, and that makes a really solid backing. I just didn't do it on some of these, and I'm going to see how they live up to their wear and tear. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's really nicely glued in. I'm pinching it in between the paper clip, and I'm making sure this end down here is glued. Now the fun stuff. This is where the fun begins. So you start with the center, and sometimes the glue seeps through and you have to unglue your little pieces down here, your petals. I don't know why. Probably because I used too much glue. So I'm separating those at the bottom where they've stuck. And then I take them around and separate them at the top too, because usually that's a little goopy and sticky too. Yeah. See? So I'm really glad you joined me to craft with me today. As I said, I don't claim to discover any of these things on my own. I'm not a very original person, but I like to take techniques that I've seen other people use, and I like to adapt what works for me. So I always want to give credit that I did not come up with these ideas. I did watch an altered paperclip tutorial by Linda Israel, and she used some of her gel print leftover papers. And my first altered paperclip, I was hooked. I tried her method. I did not use gel papers because I haven't used my gel plate yet. But I do want to give credit to Linda for inspiring me. And then Pinterest, there were several people that had videos that were pinned. And someone, I believe, used a paper punch like this. And that's what got me thinking that I already had this paper punch, so why not use it? And I hope you can see what I'm doing. See the center of the flower coming together? And you just keep pinching every layer up one at a time. My dog. Gabby, you're snoring really loudly. So the sun is out today. I live in Virginia. It's cold, which is okay. I don't mind the cold. I like when it's cold. There's no bugs. When it's hot and humid, it's buggy and it's hard to do anything. So I don't feel very inspired in hot, humid weather, but I feel very inspired in cold weather. And of course, the holidays are right around the corner. So this morning I was working on some handmade Christmas cards, and I used to make all my own cards, probably 8 or 10 years ago. I got really into card making, and I still had a bunch of supplies left from that I hauled over here when we moved. And I almost gave all those supplies away. I was trying to purge a bunch of stuff, and then I got into journaling. I found traveler's notebooks, but that really wasn't for me. I didn't like the size. I don't like tall and narrow. I feel uninspired to write and draw, and not that I draw well. Don't draw well at all. But to do much with it. So I messed around with that for a month or so, and then I found junk journaling, and my journals, I don't feel really fit into the junk journal category. So I don't know what they're really called, but I'm enjoying making them up. I've made one for a friend in California. I have made one for someone else that hasn't received it yet because it's going to be a Christmas gift, and I don't want to say who it's for. And I will do a flip through of that one when I am ready. Okay, so I'm down to the papers that I glued together on the bottom, right? And so here's the mushed up, scrunched up as much as I can, tight as I can flower. But we don't want to leave it like that. But look, it really looks like petals. Doesn't it really look like an actual flower? What you do now is you start making the flower bloom. So you start pulling them out a little bit. And you can spray this paper with Tattered Angels or any other stain or spray. You can, although I would advise spraying it before you cut them out. Spray it, dry it, then cut them out, punch them out. I did it the other way the other day, and the little round things, these things, they were flying all over my spray box when I was trying to dry them. So it was kind of humorous. Yeah. I like to entertain myself sometimes. So here, and you really don't see the brad, see? So it really doesn't matter what kind of brad you put inside. And if you don't have brads, you can put a teeny tiny dot of glue in the center of every piece of paper. I did that with one of the flowers and it worked. But you have to be real careful the glue doesn't spread too far, because then you can't fold enough of the paper up and crunch it up. But there's the flower, the two-toned flower with the, this one I used the archival inks. This is the cactus flower and the plum. How pretty is that? Right? And you can do anything. This one I inked the cheesecloth. This is tea-dyed cheesecloth. But I inked it with the green and put it behind it, and it sort of looks like it's laying in grass that way. You can put bows on it. I put a bow on this one, and I put a little dab of glue there so that the bow sort of doesn't come undone while you're using it, right? And these things fit on the journals and cards and stuff. Let me find a card. Really nicely. So this is cardstock. Look, how pretty is that? These could be used on gifts. If you're wrapping a gift and you want to put something on the ribbon or just on the package, well, you'd have to have a ribbon or a card. They can go on cards. They can flatten out to go in your journals. I mean, that's when, you know, if you flatten it out, it's still dimensional, but it could go inside a journal. I mean, our journals are kind of chunky anyway, right? And I just really love making them. I hope you can tell that from all the ones that I've made. And I have more cut out. I used a black and gray. Now, I know flowers don't come in black and gray, but I figured for, you know, those that like this kind of thing, hey, that'll make a cool flower. I did use one. I inked these up last night. I used the Archival Coffee, and I used the Distress Ink Walnut Stain. One is just a little bit darker than the other, but, you know, there you go, the vintage look. And you can put any combination of colors together or just use one color. This is the yellow and the orange Distress Inks. This one here. And I just had fun. So I hope this inspires you. If you're not feeling very creative or not feeling inspired, it's real easy to just pull out something small. It's instant gratification. It's easy to do. It's kind of mindless work. You punch, you ink, you punch a hole, and you put it together, and you glue a couple pieces on the bottom, put a paper clip on it, and call it a day. And that's how fast and easy they are. It really takes nothing at all. You can spray these afterwards. Like, I might put this one in a box and spray it with, I have a Tattered Angels, this is Strawberry Daiquiri, and that will add a little shine to it. So I might do that. You can take another ink pad, like a silver or a gold, and just ink around the edges. And honestly, these are so much fun. And I feel like I've been busy, but I've just been playing, right? So I hope this inspires you. Like I said, I don't take credit for any of this. This is all just for fun. And I'm just sharing like other people have shared with me on Facebook and YouTube and Pinterest. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and some kind comments. If you feel like sharing, you can do that. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it because this channel is kind of new for me. And I'd love to pick up some more subscribers. So thank you again for joining me. And I will be back soon. Take care. Bye.